My grandpa Antonio was a very wealthy man, and he made a fortune by establishing movie theaters across America. And he is a prime example of a self-made man who went from rags to riches. And he earned his millions all by himself, without winning the lottery or inheriting money from his long lost uncle. And he knew from his own experience what it was like to live from paycheck to paycheck. And when you are so broke to even to buy a bus fare. And so he was a reasonable spender, and he never wasted money, but um, put them on a bank account or invest money invested. He'd always been an honest man, and he paid taxes and never get bribes. And he donated, but at the same time he donated considerable amount of money to build schools in the poorest districts. And he also established a fund that provided grants and scholarships for students from poor background, and who lived or who were strapped for cash. And he also donated money to programs, to immigrant programs who launched immigrants startups. Grandfather Antonio came to the United States 60 years ago from El Salvador, a small country in Central America. And he borrowed money from his family back at home, and they lent him money lent him as much as they could to pay his trip to the United States. And first years he was as poor as a mouse, and he lived on a shoestring. And he is like other immigrants. He has to survive, and got jobs and worked as a fast food cook, porter, shop assistant, and a construction worker. And living on a tight budget, Antonio to make ends meet, he used every chance to earn more money, and so he swept the floors in the bus store, in one of the bus store, and worked as a security guard at the nightclub. And these very hard years learned him to understand, to respect people, no matter who they are and what they do. And since that time, he always tipped taxi drivers, waiters, and other industry workers because he had been in their shoes. And once he was out of debt, Antonio started saving money, and he put it in his bank account. And at that time, he met our grandma, and he was very shy to approach her, so he applied for a job in a movie theater where she worked, to see her every day. And that is how he fell in love with the cinema. And while our grandma fell in love with him, and one day he bought a very incredibly expensive diamond that cost him an arm and a leg, and proposed to her. They soon got married, and at that time he got promoted to a manager, to a theater manager, and in a few years he was running the entire theater. And he started investing in stocks and get money from interest, and receive an interest from his bank accounts. And so money makes money, he always said. And by the late 1980s he managed to so he had saved enough money to for his own venture, but this the first his venture unfortunately was a failure, because he due to his lack of experience and poor location choice. So this business makes no profit, not much profit. So he went belly up after 6 months, and had to take a loan, and had to sell his car to settle it up. But soon he went bankrupt, and lost all his money. And so, but in spite of this failure, he wasn't. He didn't. He didn't pity. He didn't feel pity of himself, but he did the best to learn from his mistakes, and he got some business course. He took business course and made a proper business plan, and started looking for sponsorship. And later, he managed to get some money, kind of capital, to open another movie theater. And this time things were getting very well, and in some years he has 60 locations of his theater in across 34 states. And on his 80th birthday, Antonio decided to retire, and he went and go on a trip around the world. He said he had achieved everything he had been dreaming of. And but a couple of years ago, he died, and our family inherited all his business. And now it's my turn to take the lead.